get a T-bone steak and slap it on the front of the table. You ain't gonna eat that. You're gonna season it. You're gonna bread it. You're gonna get this. Oh, I need this. I need that. I need that. And then you're gonna eat it.
Kings and Queens, welcome back. This is your boy John Pat, and we are here at the Still Sharpn Still Show, Season 3. And today we got two wonderful, incredible individuals.
Absolutely.
Talk about it. But first and foremost,
you know the vibes. Your boy
talk.
Mr. Love is Love. Family, if you didn't do it already, please hit that subscribe button. You know whatever you learn, whatever you get from us, you learn and you grow with it. Whatever we get from you, we learn and we grow with it as well. Like, comment, and share, guys.
today, like I said, we're going to send our just undefined gratitude for y'all even pulling up today. But first and foremost, let the world know who you guys are.
Okay, peace, y'all. My name is AsanaRa. I am wife to Chef Don, and we are the co-owners of Flavatown LLC.
Talk about it. This is the...
So I'm Chef Don, private plant-based chef, Alkaline chef. I do a lot of private caterings, private dinners, meal prep services, holistic liberty, and the husband to AsanaRa.
This is beautiful. You see this black love right here?
Come on,
Give it up for black love. Give it up for black
it.
love.
Yeah.
And today we're going to definitely just speak about wealth, health, and self. But first, let us know, let the world know, let the Still Sharpn Still community know how you guys got started, you know, your adolescence to like your alkaline journey.
Absolutely.
Ladies
first.
Ladies first, queens first.
So in terms of like how we was eating, like,
Yeah, so matter of fact, I'll be more direct with you. So we're going to go straight into it. As a kid, what genre of food was normalized in your household?
Everything. We ate everything. Nothing was off limits. Anything from pork to Lego my ego.
Ooh.
You feel me? And everything in between that. So we grew up on any and everything, beef, all types of meat, dairy product. You know, the typical, what we define as soul food, which needs some refining.
Yeah.
But the typical black people soul food, fast, convenient, fast food, corner store, the whole deal.
It's funny, we just had a podcast too, virtual podcast.
Talk about it.
And she basically was saying like all these foods that we been eating at a young age and things that we was raised on, that shit is killing us. So we gonna get right into it. So you was raised on this soul food as well. What about you, Chef, for the most part?
Soul food, everything, man. My mom was actually my inspiration when it comes to cooking. My mom was pretty much the chef of the family, very reliable cook. So whenever family events was going on, she was the one. Sunday dinner, she was the one. So I grew up in that house. So every day I had Italian, I had soul food, I had Caribbean, my family's from Jamaica. So I had it all. American, whatever you want to call it, I had it all.
And she throwed down.
And she just
Shout out to Mama Love. Shout out to Mama Love.
So for me, it was just whatever she cooking, you know, it was time to eat. As far as like, it's kind of like pretty much the food that I was eating. I didn't know so much as far as like if it was healthy or not.
Okay.
Because I was an athlete. So a lot of times I eat and I'm running straight outside. So I didn't really experience any type of build up or reaction, anything like that.
I feel that though. Yeah, that's tough.
Just understanding the diet and everything like that wasn't good because I was an athlete. So it's like, you know, I'm going to practice eating McDonald's after that. So.
My boy said eat McDonald's after that.
Eating burgers right after practice. I was right there.
You don't get time for your body to react.
Yeah.
For the most part. So let me ask y'all, what made y'all into this journey? Like what was that motivation? What day spearheaded for y'all to become alkaline and take this journey head on?
Man, health, man. Health. Gracefully so, I didn't have any type of ailments to force my way this way.
100%.
But it was a decision, just me cooking, and I just realized like this ain't it.
I feel like.
And I just had to ask myself because I was coming into ancient history, learning how we eat as black people, and I just realized that what we eating now is not what we ate back in ancient times, or even 100, 200 years ago. You can go as far back as you want if you want to, you know, just to do the history. But I just realized that this wasn't it. So I did my own research and I started asking myself why, you know, and pretty much led me to plant-based diet, you know, and I put 2 and 2 together with how our body is biologically made up and what's best for our biological makeup as melanated beings. And the result is a plant-based diet. So after that, I said, boom.
Right.
That's
So,
what it is.
so plant-based, right? And AsanaRa, I want to hear your journey as well. For you, like what got you into that journey, and like define plant-based for me as well, if you can. Tell the people.
Yeah. Well, there's that difference of being like vegan, plant-based, and alkaline.
Okay.
I would say personally, well, with him, it was very much, he got the knowledge and applied it like next day, like he was cutting it off. For me, it was much more gradual. So it was my sophomore year of college when everything kind of changed. Like I, you know, cut off my perm kind of thing. Red meat just fell out of my diet.
Right on.
So my diet was changing by things just falling out. I never necessarily made a decision that I was going to be vegan as of tomorrow. But red meat was the first to go. Then chicken went. Dairy went, and fish was actually the last thing. And so I gave myself that grace in order for me to transition that way.
So it was a gradual for the most part.
Yeah, it was more gradual with me. But once I was plant-based, I was plant-based. Because I allowed myself, if I wanted it, then I had it. Because I knew that it was going to come to a place when I didn't want it anymore. And I knew I didn't want it anymore because I had salmon in my fridge. This was in college. I had salmon in my fridge. And I never ate it. It went bad. So it was just like, okay, well, I guess I'm done with salmon. And so I gave myself that grace and allowed it to just kind of fall out of my life.
So it appears that you absolutely have to acknowledge yourself first and understand how you operate and how you eat, and once you understand that, then you gradually make the necessary adjustments. You know what I'm saying? So it sounded like you was able to understand self first, which is important.
And it forces you to develop a relationship with your body.
Okay.
Like I always tell my clients, or for example, I had a family member, right, who couldn't get off the Pepsi kind of thing, right? And so one time I bought him just gallons of juices, like a watermelon juice, apple ginger, and just kind of said, hold it down, just try that out. And so a couple of days later, he went back to the Pepsi and his body completely reacted. Like his body rejected it completely. He had, you know, had to catch his breath kind of thing. And so now it forces you to develop a relationship with your body. Now your body is telling you it doesn't want it anymore. So you cannot listen, but your body will reject it. So now he knows I can't do it even if I wanted to. So it forces you to really get in tune with yourself.
So let's talk about that. Like, so you speaking about dieting, and when you change the habit of how you eat, everything, your body reacts, right? So how do you like understand how do you know when your body's reacting and when something's not good and when something is good?
I mean, your body tells you in every way, from you sweating, breaking out, where you're breaking out, is always correlated to an organ.
Talk about it.
So, for example, like your reproductive organs are here, right? So if you're breaking out around the mouth, that means something with the reproductive organs. The liver is kind of up here in the forehead. So where you're breaking out on your face lets you know. Lungs and kidneys, it's literally correlated to your face. The way you smell when you urinate, you defecate, using the bathroom, it should not be this foul, like,
smell,
who farted? Like, it shouldn't be that kind of deal. So it's, your body is telling you all the time. Most of the time we're ignoring it. But your body is telling you every day.
I mean,
that you need a cleanse, not to cut you
every
out.
day.
Yeah, as soon as you come out the womb, your body is telling you, from a newborn to adult to elder, your body's always going to be talking to you. So if you're diabetic, your pee is going to be sweet. It's going to smell sweet. You know, if you have a clogged up colon, that's why when you move in your bowel, you might smell something because you have food that's rotting inside your colon. So it's just listening.
What's some foods that can rot in your colon? Like, what's some foods name foods that's damaging to the black community that we eat normally?
Meat.
God damn.
Processed foods.
Yes.
Sugar.
Okay.
White sugar is the #1 death of us black people.
Yes.
Yeah, it leads to high obesity and
leads to everything.
Everything.
It's white sugar.
And when you really understand the power of sugar and how detrimental it is to our human body, you will see why it's used in every single thing. They spray sugar on cigarettes. They put sugar in bread. They put sugar in anything you just look at the ingredients, it's going to be sugar. Cereal, you waking up every day in the morning eating cereal, the first thing you digestion is a bowl full of sugar.
Would you consider mood swings a fact, or is that like the body is just reacting to a shortness of sugar? A shortage of sugar, forgive me.
That's a good question.
That might be parasites.
Yeah. Yeah, mood swings is definitely parasites. And that usually happens when you having a parasite pass through your kidney. So once it passes through your kidney, it's gonna affect your mood because now it's pretty much a war going on in your body.
So mood swings correlate obviously with the things that you consume and devour, right? So speaking about just consumption, right, and you speaking about meat, that's the thing that the Black community, we need to stop, right? Let me ask y'all, just to spin it a little bit, how was y'all transition, especially for you, AsanaRa? You said that you ate, your last stop was pescatarian, and then after that you wasn't looking back. So talk about more so like the steps you took to go into the Alkaline journey and what happened.
To get to the Alkaline journey, that was definitely King. He brought that home.
Talk about it.
But that's how he is. Like, he gets the
yeah.
knowledge and just like, all right, this is what we doing. It's like, and I was not very happy at first. I will say that. I was pushing back a little bit. But you know, you let the King lead, and it was the best decision we made. So I have no complaints.
Yeah, because we pretty much was going off each other.
Yeah.
Because she was vegetarian before me. I was still eating meat. So I'm showing her my chef profile. Like, I got oxtails, I got stewed chicken, I got curry, I got all this. And she's just like, no reaction. Like,
no good. No way.
No reaction. So I was like, all right, maybe she don't eat meat. And then come to find out, it was like, nah, she's a vegetarian. So I was like, okay, cool. But that's one thing too. When a woman is leading as well, men, we follow. If a woman's on a holistic, healthy lifestyle, we gonna follow. Why? Because they're gonna come to us with a smoothie. To us, we're gonna be like, I'm going to the gym. I look strong, I feel strong. We thinking logical. Women, they're more in tune with the body, so they know, like, all right, this is what we should be doing. I feel better, you know, and the way their body is made up, they're more in tune. So that's why I was like, all right, whatever she doing, it must be right. So then I went vegetarian. I had a pescatarian phase as well, but that didn't last too long because of the source. I'm a person who always asks questions, and if I couldn't find an answer, then there's some suspicion.
So this is the thing, though. This is the thing, right? We from Brooklyn, New York, and shout out to everybody from Brooklyn doing y'all thing. Black victory. When you ate, like, cause I eat salmon all the time. I eat bass, salmon. What's wrong with that?
Ain't nothing wrong with it until you eat it. Until you eat it.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
And that's a reference from Dr. Melanie Stevenson, the wife of the late and great Dr. Africa. It's pretty much, you just say, I'm gonna just put myself in a position. I ask myself, where's this fish coming from? If it's Alaskan salmon, Alaska is where? All the way, not northwest. It's like above Canada, you know. So how is that fish coming from there all the way to New York City, and then on top of that, it's all over the United States? How is that possible? How you transporting it? How much fish is there to even how it's being preserved? That's a lot of miles to get that fish to hit, and you know, you just start to do that research and look in, you'll find what you're seeking.
So over time, with that miles that the fish is being transported, what is happening to the fish?
My thing is it even coming from Alaska? Or how is that? You know, what is the procedure of that? Like,
So it was more so curiosity for the both of you guys that like made y'all lead to that next decision. Like, where is these things come? The source, like you said.
And it's too many hands on it.
Too many hands
on
it.
Yeah.
That was just one question, and then you start to think about the biological makeup of your body. And the mercury is no good, especially for women. Too much mercury is no good.
So too much eating tuna sandwich is not good.
And on top of that, when we get the fish, it's usually in those cans.
But see, this is the thing though. So like you guys have the Alkaline Flavatown, right? Now, all these foods that we've been eating as Black people, like you said, is not good. The source is not well, right? We normally, as growing up in the hood from Brooklyn, we eat what? Bacon, eggs, and cheese, right? How could we change that alternative? Like, what do we do instead of eating that?
Fruit. Eat some fruit.
And you said before, you said eggs is what is this?
Eggs is contains the same amount of cholesterol and damage as a pack of cigarettes. So one egg is equivalent to smoking 10 cigarettes.
That's wild.
Yeah, so it's like it's not good. But also really what it comes down to, all the food that we eat and all the food that we accustomed to and we grew up eating, like I said before, it's not our diet, but where that diet came from. It's a standard American diet. So a standard American diet is not us.
Especially when it comes to black people, melanated people, people of African descent. It's not our culture. It's not normalized. So when we eating these foods that's not containing water and oxygen, we killing our body like
literally every single day, and they just collecting that check. You go into that grocery store, they just taking your money. They don't care about your health. You know what I'm saying? That's why healthy food is at a premium. That's why it is sold at a higher price.
Yeah, money makes the world go round.
Are you familiar with more of aside from the Western kind of, how can I say curriculum for food and everything, is there another type of curriculum, healthier type of curriculum?
The African holistic diet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So speak about the African holistic diet.
Talk about it.
Well, there's a book that I recommend every melanated being to get this book, African Holistic Health by Dr. Africa.
Right on.
You could get it on Amazon. I would recommend to get it directly from the site.
Yeah.
Just to send the support.
Yeah, support black businesses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Support it.
It's about $30 maybe, $30, and it's about 600 pages, and it teaches you every single thing about your body, about the food that you eat, was the food that we grew up eating that may be wrong, why it's wrong. It also tells you why we didn't eat these foods. So for instance, like soul food, we have the ham, right? You have the honey ham.
Thanksgiving. That's the first thing you think about, Thanksgiving.
Honey ham with the pineapple, all that, the syrup and all that. But the holistic thing about that is the only reason why it was passed on generation to generation was because like slave food, right?
Right on.
But what we did as slaves, when we wasn't slave, we wasn't slave, we was enslaved. What we did was we put clove in the ham, right? Because our ancestors knew that ham is full of worms. A pig is over 90% worms. Parasitic worms.
Absolutely.
So if you leave a ham out, worms is gonna come out. So if we're eating that food as being forced upon us to eat on a plantation, we put cloves in because the worm is gonna come up and the cloves is gonna attack the worm. So that's the only way they was able to eat it. And on top of that, they was eating greens. They eat a lot but that part they leave out. We took the soul food as far as all the parasitic foods, but we left out the greens. So our ancestors they was eating that forcefully, but they also remained in the African holistic mind to eat the greens to balance that out and to fight that. So you have the dandelion greens, you have the dandelion root. So they knew all that. So they would take that from the plantation as they're growing to eat the food that they know that's going to be detrimental to their body. So we have to remove that part and get back to the green part and bring that back.
It's kind of like black. I'm gonna let you go, sister, as well, Brian, as well. But it kind of goes back to like black people getting our hands back on agriculture to the most of our ability.
I mean, no, just really an ode to the ancestors, like really doing something by force. And just like you said, they would pour that honey on it to make the worms come out. And then that clove would kill it. You feel me? So this was how advanced we were. You know what I mean? It wasn't something like, ooh, and then my grandmother said, it wasn't for flavor. It was to get the worms out and then kill it with the cloves so that they can actually eat it. And then they had all those greens to provide them with the fiber to push it out. So it wasn't something that they were proud to ingest. They were focused on getting it out of them as quickly as possible. So, and we, took it and tried to reclaim it into something positive.
They don't tell you about that because it's crazy because I'm really well with Black history and there's always room for growth. But like they leave that part out about the green, so I appreciate that.
100%. Before I dive in really to the question I wanted to ask, do you recall, how can I say it, the African holistic agenda?
Like the food pyramid.
The food pyramid, yeah. Do you recall it?
Yeah. All right. So what is 70% greens, 15% protein, and 15%. What is it? 15% greens.
They got the legumes in there.
Legumes.
Fruits. So
pretty much is that what you would eat more greens, right? It's not so much as far as like a pyramid. It's more about a lifestyle. What you do. It's more like a habit. It's more as like a lifestyle, like I said. So,
get the book. Say the book again.
African Holistic Health.
Africa Holistic Health.
And I want to just spin everything back. So going back to the hand, the club, and the clove, and I was gonna spin go back to like Thanksgiving, and you know us as Black people, when it comes to these holidays, we normally eat what? Ham, turkey. So in your household, right? We're gonna dive in, right? You guys, kings and queens, king and queen. When you have Thanksgiving, you have your family and you have kids, right? How you gonna, like, what is that Thanksgiving gonna look like? Alkaline, like, talk about that part. Because that shit is hard to change.
But we won't be celebrating Thanksgiving.
All right, well, definitely.
that's
first and foremost, talk your African shit. But then, let's not say Thanksgiving. When you're gonna create a huge meal, let's just say that for the most part.
Well, they call us Flavatown, right? And so what we realize is that you're not missing the texture, it's the flavor you're missing. And I think it gets back to the question of the bacon, egg, and cheese. Like, you're not missing the texture of bacon, you just want that bacon flavor. And so it comes to seasonings, like knowing how to season your food. Like, you could take one mushroom and using sea vegetables make it shrimp or fish. And then using, you know, your Mexican kind of seasonings that'll make it a fajita, and then using your chicken kind of flavorings that'll make it chicken. So
making me hungry.
Yeah, it's it's the flavor that you're looking for. It's not the texture. So we just substitute. So instead of potato in our potato salad, it's boiled banana. You know what I mean? So we're still having potato salad. It just looks different.
That's all it is, fam. It's just substituting.
It's substituting.
Making an alternative, making an adjustment.
Just making an alternative. The same with how we do with everything else on the outside world. We need to do that on that plate. We start substituting. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what it is. Same thing, mac and cheese, but instead of using cheese, which is infested with pus, that hormones and all that, you just make your own cheese. And how you do that, you know, you could get some butternut squash, mix it with some coconut milk, sea salt, onion powder, lime juice, blend that up. There you go. You got
is it substitute?
And it's a little more harder as far as like the labor, because you can't go in the grocery store and just get what you want and just
it's more of a challenge. It's like the accessibility.
They make it that way.
No, I get it. Like, what are some good alternatives for like a more healthier diet? More importantly, more energy for a more energized body, as far as like fruits that's high in nutrition.
Yeah, I would say definitely fruits with the high water content. So watermelons, melons, any type of melons. I would say citrus fruits, all fruit. Fruit is just
So this is my question with fruits, right? When we just had this recent podcast, right? Is it a such thing of too much natural sugars?
If you on your couch eating fruits all the time, you need to get up, right? Like, it's a lifestyle. Like, you can't just be eating and then sitting down. You still need to work it off. So it's natural sugar. It's made for you to use. And so that's why after you eat fruit, you get that immediate boost of energy so that you can use it. So
that's why Gatorades have fruit juice. It's not fruit juice, but that's why all the sports drinks and things are flavored by fruits. Every drink that you drink is flavored after a fruit. And that's the reason why, because they take it's the science, right? It's really food science. So they take the food science and they make it to a Western way, and a Western way of thinking, rather than keeping it in its natural state.
So they take the fructose and make it high fructose corn syrup.
Exactly.
But all you need is the fructose.
All you need is the
fructose is sugar and fruit.
Yeah.
So they take that and make a syrup of it, and then put that in everything, thinking it's going to give you the same amount of
energy. You see a drink like Tropicana, it'll say tropical punch, or it will say strawberry punch, but it'll be strawberry concentrate, not strawberry juice. And when you look at the juices, it's going to say contains 10% juice. How is that possible?
Strange.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I mean, but you know, it's crazy. Growing up, when you look behind the carton of a lot of juices, you see these things, and we scared to ask ourselves, like, where is this coming from? I think that's the problem.
It is. It is, because you don't want to know the truth.
You don't. People are scared of the truth of the unknown.
And we also assume the best. That's us with our African heart. Like, we assume the best of people. So when we see something that says pineapple juice, we think it's going to be 100% pineapple juice until you actually look at it and you see citric acid, absorbic acid, and all this stuff in it.
Isms. I just be like,
No, for real.
when they get, like you said, the main source, the fruit.
Just get back to the original. Gatorade, no, you just want coconut
I was
water.
I was going to interject with Gatorade because there's so many different ways you can get electrolytes, if I'm right. Pardon me with that.
Absolutely.
But I do want to ask you really quick, my fault, B. I definitely want to ask y'all, you guys being a black couple and having, black love and stuff. Let's say you do have a kid, right? Like, what advice you give to that alkaline couple if they have kids? Are they eating McDonald's? Are they eating fruits? Like, how's that journey? Like, are you taking that away from them, like them being a kid?
Okay, first,
I always wanted to know that though, because it's like you a kid.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
it's an interesting conversation.
Very sensitive.
Right? I would say first and foremost, shout out to our family Surviving Vegan. If y'all not following them, follow Surviving Vegan because they're doing it. They have a family.
She be in my ass. I go on the ground, I'll be like, I'm not eating that today.
Every time. And she give it to you raw, right? And so I don't know if y'all saw the video they had on giving their children ChickfilA. Just as an experiment. They literally just bought ChickfilA home. It's like, look, we're not vegan no more. Like, if you want to partake, go ahead. And they all were like, stop. Like, get this away from, stop playing. Like, they took offense to it. It was literally like, get this away from me. So I think with kids, we have to give them a lot more credit than we do. First and foremost, we'll be teaching them their history so that they can kind of know where they come from. And if they know who they are, then that instills like a pride and a dignity within them in which they won't want to compromise that with processed foods. So that's first and foremost, just to give them that basis. But I think it's the culture, and it depends on what they pride themselves on. Like a lot of kids, if they pride themselves on being cool and being down, right, then they would want to go to McDonald's with their friends. But if they pride themselves on being African and loving themselves and loving their body and loving their skin and how they look, they'll know that eating that is going to compromise that. So I think it's just kids know what's best for them, and we know, and we just have to form that communication, what I mean, with them for them to understand why we're doing it, not just saying this is what we're doing. Because when we do and we tell them that why, you get the situation like Surviving Vegan, and they're like, get this away from me.
It's the knowledge.
It's the knowledge,
Just to piggyback off what you were saying as far as pride. So would you consider black people just, not even just black people, but just because we keep it in real culture, but black people just normalizing, what is that? Normalizing, like settling for things. You get what I'm saying? Just normalizing, like.
I see what you're saying. But that's coming from what she was saying and how you piggybacked on that, on grace. That's you having grace for our people. And we really got to understand it's not us. We're not choosing this. We're being forced it from the moment we come out the womb. And it's generation after generation after generation. So the same foods that we eating now was the plan of the Western method. The agenda to get us. We're just the aftermath.
100%. And at the same time, just to go off of what you said, is like we not settling for it, but it was forced onto us. And I can't fault you for that. I can't fault no one for that. But at the same time, however, I could fault you for not being aware of it and moving on from it. You know what I'm saying? Because and it goes back to just black people just normalizing and settling for things.
But then again, though, sometimes black people being aware of it, some black people don't have access to even certain education to even know what it is. Some black people just don't know sometimes. And I think that's a problem.
And it goes back to having, not to cut you off, big bro, having pride and setting high standards. Once you set high standards and you have pride in yourself, now you just, that curiosity and the creativity that black people naturally have, it just propels. You know what I'm saying? It starts emerging, and we start looking into things that's differently. We start seeing things differently instead of normalizing what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like, if black people want to go anywhere, and this is like, of course, on all levels, we gotta go back. Like, we gotta go back. You have to. We gotta go back. Simple. We gotta know where we come from. We gotta know the worth. We gotta hold that pride, because our indigenous ways, we'll look at ourselves and see how keen we were at a young in those times and just appreciate it. So us as black people, if we want to go far, we gotta go back.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
Saying Kofi, you bringing the principle.
I said, real talk.
So with that, it's like we gotta really understand the attack on our people, right? Because that's what it is. We eat every single day. That is a privilege to eat every single day.
Talk.
So if you talking about an attack on black people, how can we attack them? What they do, you know, what do they do every day? They eat. So let's get their food. Let's control their food and study them. Study their. If you knew what it means to be a melanated being, you would not be eating the foods that you see that is normalized. Period.
Yeah, and you have to go back. Like if we knew how sourceful, how impactful melanin was by itself.
Alone.
That right there is just the whole conversation.
Everything.
I mean, what is the great Baba Mfudishi says? And shout out to Mfudishi. If y'all don't know, but definitely look him up. But he, I mean, heavy hitter. Like I'm talking, like he just keep going. But he, you know, we have class with him, and we were listening to one of his classes, and he was saying we're the best of the best genetically. Like us black people still being here right now, like sitting on this couch, we're the best of the best. So for our ancestors to have been enslaved, a lot of them died during the Middle Passage on that boat coming here. You feel me? And then by the time they got here, a lot of them died through the diseases that the Wazungus introduced. And then while being here, a lot of them died during the generations. So for us to be sitting here right now, we're genetically the survival of the fittest. When Darwin says we're the best of the best, but we're out here looking the worst of the worst. And it's crazy, and I just gave myself chills with that. Because I never forget seeing a meme on Instagram that was like, oh, if her arms don't look like this, I don't want the mac and cheese. Talking about those elbows. You feel? It's like, but the mac and cheese is the reason that her arms look like that. You feel? So it's just like, we're not putting two and two together.
Even to piggyback on that, 1997, I believe, the movie Soul Food. Y'all remember the movie Soul Food? Look at A. Fox.
At the end, he was one of the family to come in.
We all missed that whole message of that movie. It just went right over our heads.
Give me the message.
Big Mama, right? We all got Big Mama. Everybody know who Big Mama is, right? Big Mama was in the hospital for the food that she was eating. They amputated her leg.
Diabetes.
From diabetes. And then when she passed, at the repast, you eat the same food that gave her the diabetes to get her arms amputated, her leg amputated, and she's no longer there. That's the cycle that we keep repeating. This is 1997.
Yeah, what are we now? 2021.
You know, this is a movie that's in our culture that we are going to see, that is being sold to us with propaganda, that we don't see that message, but yet we just see the food. It's like, man, that mac and cheese.
We just see the mood, the entertainment of things rather than
the real message.
And we normalize it. Like we think our elders supposed to be sick. You feel me? Like, oh, it's a part of getting old. No, it's not.
It's funny that you spoke about that, Queen, because me and my lady speak about like desiring to be 60, 70 years old. Like Dr. CB said, when you're 70 years old, that's your middle age. That's really
middle age.
That's really your middle age. So like living and having that health still and acquiring that health. I really want that. But it's hard. It is so much distraction. I say that all the time on this podcast. Still sharp, still like it's so much distraction, but the discipline, the consistency. Like shout outs to y'all. For y'all giving out every, like when y'all was doing your the menu Flavatown, like y'all giving these great foods to the community. It's giving us the opportunity to be aware. So we applaud y'all.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Because that's my way to connect. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and just be on some like, yo, this is what you're supposed to be eating. It's not. Nah, I'm gonna show you the alternative. Like, look, it tastes just like it, right? Because that's what it is. It's the flavor. We're not addicted to the food. If you go right now, get a T-bone steak and slap it on the front of the table, you ain't gonna eat that. You're gonna season it. You're gonna bread it. You're gonna get this. Oh, I need this. I need that. I need that. And then you're gonna eat it. But you're not gonna eat it plain.
Just like that.
And that's what shows you you're not meant to eat it. If you can't have it raw, you're not meant to eat it. Because we don't have the same teeth.
We don't have the same teeth. We don't have the same
digestive system.
So our stomach doesn't even produce the acid that is supposed to be used to break down that meat. You know how you can give food to a dog or something and they just tear it up and they're good, but for us, we can't eat raw foods because the acids in our body doesn't break it down. But after we eat it, our bodies, being the most advanced technology, will adjust and adapt. It'll adapt, and then it will start to produce the acid. But now, producing that acid is actually detrimental to your body.
It's funny that you say that. Just to piggyback on, the body is not meant to eat. A live body is not meant to eat that food. You get what I'm saying? So it just resonates a lot with what you was just saying. Crazy.
That's crazy, man. I'll be scared. Yo, when you said that whole, you can't eat raw, we don't eat raw foods, I'm just thinking about all the seasons that we put on, like when I'm making a burger, when I'm making steak, when I'm seasoning salmon, when I'm doing any seasoning, just the importance of the flavor and them herbs. That's the only thing we just really, that's the crazy part. But look, I definitely want to speak about this. Talk about Flavatown, talk about, we really specify on highlighting Black victory and Black businesses. So like, how has y'all journey been from the beginning of Flavatown to now?
Yeah, it's been amazing because of support. I definitely appreciate all the support. Give thanks for all the support.
Always, King.
Give thanks to Still Sharpn Still,
Always.
platform. But just the support, man. It takes a village. I'll say from beginning to now, it's just the work and spreading the message, and creating that accessibility. Just because, like, you could go to the corner store and get a bacon, egg, and cheese, or you could come to a Flavatown pop-up and just to get your foot and just to start something. I received so many messages, so many inspirational people, like just saying, like, like I have a good friend of mine. Shout out to my friend Dillion. He just wrote his book. He wrote a children's book. I know I can. And the reason why I'm shouting him out because he called me when he was transitioning, and he was like saying, like, I want to do this vegan thing, long story short, till now, years later, he's writing a book for his son on how to, live a healthy lifestyle for the kids. It's
and
like
for the kid, and that's
Shout out
to him, shout out to you, King, for fulfilling your purpose and building that machine of the future, because that's very important. You spoke about that before on the podcast prior. Like, the youth is so important. Like, these households are so important because when I was a kid, I was only raised on bacon, eggs, and cheese, chicken, fried chicken. But it's like that, those alternatives. I'm only looking for the flavor.
100%.
That's crazy.
I just wanted to piggyback on what you were saying as far as just come to Flavatown. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you connect with people. And we humbly and graciously appreciate you. But attentively, bro. Attentively, bro.
All the time.
You are very attentive to the community, and you know what I'm saying?
Responsibility.
It is a big one. You know what I'm saying? You educate us, you know what I'm saying? You provide, you know what I'm saying, the things that we need to consume. And it's amazing. So I just wanted to ask you for the Still Sharpn Still community that's outside of Flavatown's proximity. You get what I'm saying?
I got you.
What steps can people take to start cleansing their body? How do you recommend people to start like making small but effective dietary changes?
This is for both you guys too.
Absolutely. Tap in, Queen.
Queen was preaching.
No, I think that goes into what I was going to say to what you said. How I'm grateful to our supporters because our businesses have grown as we have evolved.
Right on.
So
right on.
This
remember what I was
Chef Don experience.
I had shout out to like I'm gonna interject really quick, Queen, but shout out to Chef Don. Since 2017, I had jackfruit and mac and cheese, and that's when I was really aware of it's better foods out there. So I appreciate you, I do.
But that's where we started. You feel me? He was cooking meat at first, and then that got out, and it was Chef Don experience, in which we were getting the vegan thing, and then Flavatown from the Alkaline. So
we grew just like we grew. We are trees. So
literally.
I love that. We are all trees. We all gonna grow. I like that. So like just for that too. We always share our gratitude. We got way more questions, but first and foremost, we're gonna give you some shirts for pulling up. We just love y'all so, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Flavatown, AsanaRa Chef Don.
I think that's for the missus.
The small is for the missus. The largest for Chef Don.
All right.
Humbly appreciate you.
Still Sharpn still.
Always,
Yes,
man,
yes.
always.
And that's a big matter in my household, man.
Yes,
Like,
he says it all the time.
even with y'all too, bro.
Yeah, well, even but like I said, like I tell people all the time, not to interject. Even before Still Sharp and Still, like we developing this platform, it's something that we just trying to define a little bit more. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and what it is that when you saying still sharp and still, you're gonna have uncomfortable conversations.
Yes.
It's not about. It's just you're gonna have uncomfortable conversations, and when you're having those uncomfortable conversations, we all gotta come to agreement on what's true. It's not about who's right, who's wrong. It's about what's true. And when you're speaking about truth, it's gonna be sometimes you may have a disagreement with, but as far as men, some men being overly masculine, it might turn into a little argument. But the fact is, that's the process of still sharpening still.
Yes.
When you go to a mechanic or you go to a hardware store, when they grinding out that steel, it's a lot of sparks and fireworks. That's the same thing as a dialogue. That's the sparks and the fireworks. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes you to continue to build and to have a respect for one another, to come to a common space where y'all could leave there with a different perspective because someone came with another perspective, and now y'all come together and become one.
You talking the 42 principles of the Maya?
Yeah.
Blessings, King. And that right, oh my goodness, you was giving me chills, bro. It's a process, bro.
Reciprocity.
Talk about it.
Word.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that's really what, and I say that because, you know, we all human, you know what I'm saying? So as I'm changing, of course my environment is changing, you know, my relations are changing, but at the same time, it's more about what's best for us. Like, I'm not thinking for me, I'm thinking for us.
All of us.
It's a bigger picture.
Yeah, it's not. It's deeper than us, bro.
100%.
It's deep, bro.
And we always say that, bro. It's not. Still Sharp and Still is not just me and you. Like we came off this over ideation, three brothers coming together, but it's not just me, you. It's not for all. It's for all of us.
It's a platform.
For all of us, creating that ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? For the most part.
It's a cycle. It has to get done. It has to get done. And when you do the history, when you look into history, you will see what worked and you will see what didn't. What worked is this.
Yep.
When you look at Malcolm X, he was doing his gatherings and his talks was like this.
Word.
He wasn't having no show. He was come meet me here on 125th Street in Harlem. This is what we talking about. You know?
And that's what it was.
You know what I'm saying? You got what's his name? Fred Hampton. Come on, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, we could definitely go on so many influences. Like even the new influences. Like, you know, unfortunately, I try to look at black. When I look at black, like if you're doing anything, I just applaud it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much controversials. You got people like Dr. Umar Johnson, Farrakhan, and it's like people got so much perspective. And it's like, you know, life is about perspective. Yeah. But if you black doing anything, I'm just rocking. You know what I'm saying? You excellent.
Yeah, and we gotta chill with the ego.
You gotta chill with the ego.
Especially if it's about our people, that we take the best from each other. What if Fudishi says, if y'all only agree on 3 out of 5 things, build on a 3. You feel me? Like, we need to be doing more of that. And
those two, but those two will make us divide.
Yeah.
So out of 2 things we disagree on, but 3 things we agreed on, we had a difference, and now we can't coexist, and now we can't create a commerce within each other. That's incorrect. It's like, all right, you like blue, I like red, let's make purple.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Let's come together. And you bring your resource, I bring my resource, and we find a way to compromise and come in agreement. Rather than, he ain't doing his thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna look at somebody different if they come to Flavatown and support and they eating meat. I'm not gonna look at you, nah, you're not ready. I can't rock with you. Nah, that's you can't do that.
Yeah, perspective, man. It's like back to what you said, Queen, about ego. And me and Love is Love talk about all the time, like crabs in a barrel. We always have that competitive mentality as black people.
Well,
where does
where did that come from?
The system, that science that they created amongst us,
because crabs ain't supposed to be in no barrel.
Talk about it.
It's just like,
talk about it.
That's create an environment and you know the outcome. But we don't know the outcome because we don't know the realities being created for us.
We were born in the environment.
Born in it. Projects. You living on top of each other. What you think you're supposed to do in a project when you got a chicken spot, a liquor store, and a supermarket that don't got nothing for you? What you think you're supposed to do when you don't got jobs in the area? What you think you're supposed to do? So you become that's the part of melanin that people need to understand. when it comes to the science of melanin is the cell that makes you adapt to the weather. That's why we could get through the winter. We're not built for the winter.
We're tropical.
People don't know about the Caucasus Mountains if you really want to go there.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's go there.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Like,
here we
but no, like real shit. Like we gotta embrace
Yeah, man,
our
we gotta
melanin.
really know what's going on and how we got here. Like you said, the Caucasus Mountains, they lived on top of each other.
Literally.
They lived on top of each other. They had no sunlight. They was living like cavemen. They was one that was curating meat and eating meat. Cannibalism.
That's
They
not our culture.
used to eat women, man.
And also too,
Eating women.
A lot of people get that.
eating, not eating women, and both of y'all are king and queen, but eating people.
Eating people.
Literally.
But the fact that you chose the woman shows what you gonna do when you're trying to reproduce.
Yeah.
You become a savage.
And even this war, like violence, that's not our culture. It's not black people. We are loving individual. That's not what we're about.
See, I was just talking about this on tour with some of my castmates. Like we talk so much about cultural appropriation, right? And all these white girls with cornrows in their hair and all this stuff. I mean, I look at that, I laugh. I think it's an honor. Like it's fine. I have no problem with that. But if we're talking about cultural appropriations, we're the greatest ones. Like we out here, the music, you feel we're making music about shooting each other and sleeping with each other's wives. That's Roman culture. That's not our culture. And we've made it a part of our culture, and we like, it's for the culture.
Absolutely.
Whose culture?
Yeah,
That's not how we move. And so we need as we're talking about something holistic, it starts with the food, because that's going to help you see things differently. But it goes into, the lotion you putting on your skin, like the toothpaste you using, you feel me, the music you listening to, the books you're reading. It's crazy.
We are living in a consumerism society.
Talk about
Everything
it.
is consumer. So if they could, that's why I said it's an attack on your melanin. They coming from all angles. Wake up, brush your teeth, fluoride. What fluoride does? Decalcifies your pineal gland. So now you're walking outside with a decalcified pineal gland. You're going to school for 8 hours in a penitentiary and no windows, no sunlight. You got recess for an hour. Telling these kids they only can play for an hour. You lining up, you're in 2 lines, going to a teacher with an instructor. That is preparing you for jail.
Literally.
If you look at schools, the public system,
It's built the same way.
built the same way.
All them institutions, all them
All
public
the
institutions. Yeah.
all that. And we gotta really understand that it's an attack on our people, and we need to understand it's not normalized for us. Let them normalize it. If they want that, let them do that. But for us, we can't know. We have to stand up and fight back.
And even the best of the best schools. Like I graduated from the uncommon system, which is, our scores are crazy, right? But what was I learning? Like I didn't learn anything about myself. I learned how to memorize and regurgitate facts, and I'm very good at that. But in terms of entrepreneurship, we're not taught that in school. Like we're taught to, you feel me? We're taught to go to school so you can get a good job. Like and that's about it.
And that's it.
And die. You feel like that's literally it. And prepare for your death. Because once you hit a certain age, it's literally the culture. Like society. Once you hit a certain age, we can look at the certain commercials that comes on the TV from like 8 to 1, and it's all death insurance, because ain't no such thing as life insurance, death insurance, sick care, ain't no such thing as health care. You feel me? So it's literally, and these are when our elders are watching TV, and all that they see on TV is you're about to die, and this is how you prepare for it. Like literally thinking about the commercials that come when you didn't go to school that day, and you watching Maury and all those commercials it's literally all about death insurance. Like this is the culture. So it's just it's
the agenda that's forced upon us, but it's about breaking the cycle and realizing it. But I think going back, knowing where we come from. But it's hard. Like you wake up, you watch whatever you turn on, you see. Like you said, from 8 to 1.
And the reason why it is hard is because it's not cool.
With no guidance.
It's no guidance, and it's not cool. And then on top of that, like what Queen was saying, she was saying how we going, she went to school, she went to, a nice prestigious school, but what are you learning? So now, on top of that, of us black individuals, we strive and go to Harvard. We strive and go to Yale. We strive and go to all these Ivy League schools to learn their culture, and we're not coming back to our neighborhoods to build or create resources. We going to move to the white picket fence.
And not to interject too,
about our own.
You speaking about just like going to those Ivy League schools, like people don't even know, like the first university was in Timbuktu ever, like recorded in history. And it's like, I think going back to what David Bannon said, I kind of not agree 100%, but I see where you're coming from. He said that like one of the things that the HBCUs was supposed to do was to re-engineer and reprogram how to be an African again.
Yes.
And if we had that,
Yes.
if we had that, we would have, because where we came from is just we lost so much. We lost so much.
Believe it or not, HSBCUs didn't even have African majors.
Mm-hmm.
So Grandmaster Infadici, he was one of the first. He was a part of the revolution to bring African studies into I think it was Norfolk State University, because they didn't have African studies.
Wow.
So even though it's a black university, they're still teaching, the Wanzungu type of curriculums. So it's like we gotta flush.
Yeah.
We gotta flush European culture.
Flush European culture.
Literally.
And unlearn
From religion, all kinds of shit.
Everything.
Religion, all that
All
stuff.
that.
Just drop all that, let it go, and we have to be our people. And if you find the glory, when you do the history and you looking, you're gonna find glory in being black. You're gonna find the glory. And once you find that glory, you're gonna strive to bring it back. You're gonna strive to share it. Because if we all knew that we was royal, and we still are, but we just have a European mind, if we understand what that really is, then we would definitely be at the forefront of bringing it back. We all would be walking around here, peace king, you know what I'm saying? Instead of talking about,
nigga this, nigga that.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard. Like, I feel like we extend ourselves some grace, which we should, but looking at the current status of our people, this is ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous. Our sisters are out here looking like drag queens. You feel me? Like with the weaves and the eyelashes and the nails, and that literally all comes from drag queen culture. So these are men attempting to look like you. That's why they need all of that. And now women are wearing that. And now our brothers can't tell a difference of if it's a tranny or a woman. You feel me? So it's not hard to imitate a black girl, you feel me? But it's real hard to imitate a black woman. So we need to refine our culture for ourselves. But I know that looking at my sisters as a reflection, because I used to do the same thing with the weaves and the whole deal, but I couldn't see myself under all of it. I literally couldn't see myself under my 26 inches of blonde weave. And so it literally took me taking it off. You feel me? I never had hair until I had my natural hair.
And let's tell the people too, all black people, stop calling locks dreads. It's locks. It's locks. We are not dreadful
Ain't nothing
people.
dreadful.
Ain't nothing dreadful over here.
Word, yeah.
It's a British word. But just to conclude everything, kings and queens, we just applaud y'all for pulling up today.
Absolutely, 100%.
Just want to ask y'all before we get out of here and conclude everything, right? Both y'all individually, if you was able to talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you say?
If I was to talk to my 18-year-old self, I would say keep going. Keep going, and just keep going because it's a lonely road, and you know things get real as far as like because once you find the truth and you go outside, it's like you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I would just say just keep going. That's pretty much it. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah.
What about you, Queen?
Well, when I was 18, I had my 26 inches of blonde weave. I had my Louis bag, and I had Sperry's on my feet walking onto my college campus. So I would tell my 18-year-old self to let go of everything white. White sugar, white bread, white people, white culture. Let it go.
Let it go. Still Sharpn, still. We out of here, y'all.
Stay up.